In 1944, a high school teacher strapped 6 bazookas to a fabric airplane, and went tank hunting, down in the dirt near Aricourt, September of 1944. Thunder underfoot, not storms, but engines. Moving through fields, the 111th Panzer Brigade rolls forward. Panthers lead, each one a 45-ton slab of angled armor. Their guns? 75 mm. Built to punch fast and deep. Above the war machines meant to control Europe, a small Piper L, for drifts, light as a scrap of paper caught in storm winds. Not built for battle. This machine started life as an ordinary Piper Cub, changed now through careful changes. Steel tubes form its bones, joined by wooden parts covered in cotton cloth. Power comes from a small engine, just 65 horses, weaker than today's average motorbike. When pushed by tailwind, it hits 85 miles per hour at most. Without any armor on board, protection does not exist here. From the earth below, one shot from a 9mm gun might go through pilot, cabin, or gas container. According to every rule in war strategy, this machine belongs to those hunted. Its role: watch closely, send word back, then vanish fast. Yet the pilot, Major Charles Carpenter, stays put. Down goes the nose as he shoves the control forward. The thin wings creak with strain. Straight at the line of tanks he drives the delicate plane, diving hard. Stillness holds behind his eyes. Beneath him, tucked along the frame with scrap metal and fragile fastenings, ride 6 M1 infantry bazookas. On the earth below, German soldiers freeze. Their eyes lift skyward. Gunfire halts. Minds stumble, what small thing dares challenge something so massive? Carpenter holds still. Distance shrinks, 90 yards now, then 60. The armored beast swallows his view ahead. His hand moves. A click follows. From time to time, small figures take on giants. Yet David carried a sling. Instead, Major Charles Carpenter rigged up something different. No rules followed, no manuals respected. He figured, lacking a bomber, he might as well make one. Here begins the tale called Rosie the Rocketer. That winter, long before smoke stained the skies, Charles Carpenter taught history at a high school in Moline, Illinois. Football drills on cold afternoons shaped his days back then. Strategy came naturally to him, like breathing. Getting boys to push past fear. That mattered more than plays. Still, what stuck deep was knowing when to strike first. Tanks weren't part of any lesson plan until everything changed. Older than most when enlisting in 1942, he never matched the image of a bold young aviator. Instead of combat wings, artillery became his path. The L for grasshopper, small, slow, became what he learned to fly. Carpenter's actions make more sense once you see the thing he flew. Out of the sky, it looked like a toy someone forgot to put away. This was the L for grasshopper, basically a Piper Cub dressed up for war. Calling it an aircraft feels too serious. Think paper airplane held together by luck and wire. 680 pounds when empty, nothing else on board but 2 men, one flying, one watching. No guns. No armor. Just canvas, bones, and hope. Spotters called it their bird for finding targets. Others just called it suicide with wings. Floating above the fight, they'd find where Germans hid, then send numbers back to big guns waiting far away. These flyers nicknamed their planes the Maytag Messerschmitts. Laughter followed claims that birds bumped into their tails, too fast for the sky, too slow for flight. Yet here's what gave the L for an edge: it moved like quicksilver. Off any stretch of uneven ground, even soaked fields, it lifted without warning. Flying barely above the grass, crawling through air at walking speed, it slipped past enemy sight. Big guns spun too stiffly, built to follow streaks, not drifters. To them, the plane didn't register, just wind noise and shadow. In 1944, Carpenter arrived in France alongside the 4th Armored Division, Patton's leading force. Combat proved relentless. After the thick hedges of Normandy faded into flat farmland, enemy tanks stood ready. His hours unfolded above, flying steady at 1,500 feet. Below, U.S. Sherman tanks caught fire, one after another. From his spot in the dirt, he saw German Tigers jump supply trucks on back roads. Bullets kept soldiers flat in the mud, caught in gunfire from hidden spots. His only tool, a crackling radio at his hip. Moments passed when shells stayed silent, guns elsewhere had first claim. Out there, distance often kept them too far away. By the moment explosions hit ground, German forces had already moved on. The radio started to feel like an enemy to Carpenter. Waiting aid at him. Teaching history was his past, and he remembered clearly, history never shifts because someone watched. Movement changes things, not stillness. It was the siege of Lorient when things shifted. Down in a field close to some soldiers came Carpenter, touching down in his L4. These men happened to be wiping down their rifles. Mixed in among packs and belts lay an object he hadn't expected. Stretching out straight, cold metal, heavy-looking. That unmistakable shape, the M1 bazooka. That weapon had some heft to it. Fired from the shoulder, the M1 bazooka shot heavy rounds without kicking back much. Its barrel measured just under 2.5 inches across. Out came the M6A1 rocket, built to punch through armor. Speed wasn't what made it work. Instead, it used shaped charge science to cut metal like a hot knife. A sudden strike triggers the pentolite charge, sending a molten stream of metal driven by intense pressure toward one tiny spot. This force cuts clean through 3 inches of heavy steel shielding. Meant for use by foot soldiers, it launches without needing mounted support. Accuracy holds steady, but only within about 100 yards of the target. From where he stood, Carpenter studied the bazooka first. His eyes drifted next to the L4's wing supports after that. Those supports, made of triangle-shaped metal beams, kept the wing fastened to the body of the plane. Asking wasn't something he considered. Off to the ordnance depot he headed, walking away with 2 bazookas in tow. Next up, a technician turned up, Sergeant Clarence N. Nobby Robb. That moment? Pure battlefield engineering, raw and unpolished. Wind tunnel numbers were nowhere to be found. Stress test results never showed their face. Freed from their triggers and heavy wood frames, the bazookas weighed less. Each wing strut carried a single tube, fixed straight ahead along the line of flight. Firing it turned out to be complicated. Electricity made the bazooka go off. Power came from a compact battery, feeding current to light the rocket's fuse. Wires ran straight from the tubes to where Carpenter sat inside the L4. On the dash, he put together a basic set of switches. One on the left handled the launcher at that side. One rocket needs just the left lever. Fire both rockets by pulling each lever together. The launch depends on which levers move. Yet trouble appeared. Out came fire and gas from the rear when the bazooka shot, a burst needed to balance the kickback. Standing on Earth, you glance behind without worry. But up in a plane built with cloth stretched tight over frame, those flames danced close, near wooden ribs, near fuel-soaked fabric known as dope. Too intense a blast, the material sags and splits. A rocket straying into spinning blades, wood shatters midair. Carpenter called the plane Rosie the Rocketer, borrowing from Rosie the Riveter. Off it went on its first trial above ground. A German armored car appeared below during the climb. Down he plunged without delay. Then came the flick of a lever. Vibration ran through the machine at once. Thick smoke rolled into the cabin space. That kickback rattled the slender frame hard. Flying straight despite everything, the rocket zipped past the armored vehicle before detonating nearby, scattering German soldiers. Smoke rose, yet the cloth held together without catching fire. Wings remained fixed, steady through it all. Touching down smooth, Carpenter rolled toward Nobby Rob across the dirt. One instruction came, clear and flat: load another round. September 1944 brought 6 bazookas strapped to Rosie. Around 90 pounds pressed down on her frame. Aerodynamics? Gone. She'd always flown sluggish, true. Now with those tubes bolted on, flight felt like pulling through syrup. Climb meant fighting every inch upward. Speeds above average made it falter. Yet Carpenter paid no mind to how the air moved around things. What mattered was hitting hard. Solo runs started filling his days. Requests for distant gun support faded away. Now he brought the thunder himself. On September 20, 1944, near Ericourt, things turned sharp. A heavy push came from German General Otto von Manschufel. His aim sat squarely on destroying Patton's 4th Armored Division. Rain hung low, thick fog spread wide. That sky shut down the P-47 Thunderbolts. Vision failed inside the U.S. tank columns. One man stayed ahead, Carpenter. Off he goes, vanishing into the fog. Just above the trees, 50 feet up, he moves low, searching. Close to Jubili's, shapes appear. Tanks crawling forward, hidden by haze. Leading the line, a Panther. Following behind, half-tracks rumble on. Switches are checked, one by one. 6 rounds wait inside. Figuring out how this works means thinking about speed. The rocket moves at roughly 180 miles an hour once fired. Meanwhile, the L-4 crawls along at just 80. Firing level makes the projectile fall too fast, pulled down every second. Hitting armor demands a steeper angle. So diving becomes necessary. That way, timing and drop line up better. The pilot lines up the target by pointing the plane straight down. Just before hitting the ground, he lets go of the rocket. Too slow on the climb, and the aircraft smashes into the dirt. Yank back too sharply, and the frame tears apart midair. From below, if the German soldier pops open his hatch and shoots upward with his MP-40, Carpenter is dead. Forward goes the stick, pushed by Carpenter. Loud, the engine roars. Shaking, the struts hum under strain. Spotted, he is by the Germans. Tracers fly, zip, past the glass of the cockpit. Ripping sounds follow as bullets rip through cloth-covered wings. Still, Carpenter moves nothing. Downward stays the plane, locked in dive. 300 yards now. 200 closer. His hand finds the switches, flips them one after another. A shriek splits the air as 2 rockets launch from their mounts. For an instant, smoke swallows his view. Back goes the control stick in his hand. With a shudder, the L-4 lifts, just enough to skim above the trees. Down below, 1 rocket vanishes into wet earth. A second rocket strikes the Panther's engine deck. As it hits, the shaped charge bursts open. From inside, a stream of melted copper surges forward, moving at 25,000 feet per second, and tears straight through the back armor. Fuel catches fire instantly. Ammunition follows, setting off explosions within. One after another, rounds ignite until the tank erupts. Its turret lifts free, spinning upward into the sky. Meanwhile, Carpenter turns his plane around. Below, he spots the wreck now glowing red with flames. Yet he feels no urge to stop. For more rockets remain ready on his wings. Rumors moved fast. Hunting season started, people said. Fear climbed among German troops when quiet aircraft appeared overhead. These little planes once seemed harmless. Now they carried danger instead. Then everything changed. Carpenter saw the Tiger I waiting there. That tank ruled the battlefield. Its 88mm cannon could strike from far away. Up front, its armor shrugged off Sherman rounds as if they were nothing. He spotted it tucked behind trees. It had been targeting supply vehicles without warning. Surprise was gone before he even started. Eyes from the Tiger spotted his move early. Across the heavy barrel shifted, slow but sure. Then came the rattle of the coax firing. At that moment, Carpenter faced it, pull back or push through. Through he went. Straight into the line of fire he went. That Tiger tank had a soft spot, he was aware. Up above, where the metal gave little resistance. Turret roof, engine cover, both just about an inch deep in protection. To strike there meant dropping almost straight down from the sky. A drop straight down in an L-4 Grasshopper means certain disaster. Without braces, the wings can't handle the stress when pulling up. Carpenter moved the stick forward. Everything shifted, sky became ground. Trees rushed toward him, covering every inch of sight. His body sank hard into the seat under crushing force. Metal cables creaked under the weight of the rocket launchers. Not till the bolts on the enemy armor came into clear view did he stay still. All weapons let loose at once. Every single round launched in one burst. Thick smoke swallowed the aircraft whole. Kicked backward by the blast, he lost speed while flying. Yanking the control stick toward his chest changed everything. A high-pitched shriek came from the small L-4. Wing coverings twisted, pulled tight, close to tearing apart. Above the turret, he hovered just for a moment. Glancing behind, smoke rose from the Tiger. Crew members jumped clear, flames clinging to their clothes. On solid ground again, Carpenter taxied toward a nearby strip. The mechanic spotted the aircraft and moved fast across the tarmac. A single tree limb jammed into its wheels. Bullet marks pocked the skin of the L-4 all over. Black burns ran along the rocket launcher casings. Out stepped Carpenter, match striking metal, flame catching paper thin tobacco wrap. His voice came flat, refill the hold, fresh troop trail spotted just past the eastern rise. When the war finished, 6 German tanks were counted as destroyed by Major Charles Carpenter, 1 pair of them fearsome Tigers. Enemy armored cars met their end at his hands, plus several half-tracks blown apart. Dozens of opposing troops fell during his missions. His aircraft? A fragile frame covered in fabric. The firepower he used belonged on foot soldiers' shoulders, not in cockpits. Out there on his own, no commands guiding him, no protection on his body, yet he moved like none of it mattered. Reporters couldn't get enough of the story. A headline in the Stars and Stripes stamped him, the Mad Major. Crazy? Not really. Just someone who wouldn't let tools define what was possible. To most, that small observation aircraft was just for watching. To him, it carried bombs in its bones. Most saw a handheld launcher, he pictured firepower raining down from above. Rosie the Rocketer stands whole again today. Inside a museum now, her shape catches the light. Fragile seems too strong a word, yet here she is. Imagine gusts pulling at her frame through years gone by. Yet those wing supports held firm. Study the joints holding them tight. Scars mark where new things began. While jets sneak through skies today, Charles Carpenter's tale whispers something deeper about battle. Courage shapes the fighter more than steel does. His breath ended in 1966. Back in classrooms he returned, pointer in hand. Maybe those listening never realized the calm figure drawing timelines once flew cloth wings straight into Nazi armor, and walked away whole. There's more to the past than timelines and battle lines. Try smelling smoke from old gunfire. Hear engines growl like tired animals. Join WW2 Uncensored if that sounds real. The next story waits where we left off.